Camera's being all fucky. Let's see what happens if I futz with this. Let me try one more thing. Psh, that's terrible. What's going on? This camera just decides to do different shit every day. Ooh. Now it's way overexposed. Whatever. I don't really care. We're good to go. It'll just look a little garbage square around here. That's fine. All right. Let's take a look here. What song is this? This is Celestial Intruders by Abstraction. It very well could be from Faster Than Light. Who knows? All right. Taking a look at where we left off, and then after I messed with everything overnight, right? Got some new suggestions after taking in a couple of people's suggestions. I am leaning rather hard towards the immunes go away and the only thing left is rush. This change has been relatively well received. There are definitely some people who, you know, aren't necessarily a fan of it, but they're not an overwhelming majority. And also, one huge benefit is in the crush of a giant combat. It cuts down the number of counts that are being made significantly, thus lowering noise, allowing for people to communicate better and have things happen. So this giant document here is just the changes. What was I looking at here? There was a point of contention over Boom. We'll be talking about that today. Over the Boom Immune. There was a point of contention over the new medic transfer, and I think I've got that mentally taken care of, but we'll have to investigate. And then there was a point of contention over Rogue. There were people who loved the new change. There are people who hated the new change. And there are a couple of people who had actual, like, suggestions that seemed good. The other... I've got a whole brand new Rogue that I'm working on. And then there's a point of contention over the Soldier 10 ability. I think a grenade would be too strong, but we'll work on it. It's 4:14. Not sure I mean, maybe I can, I'm gonna go post again that I am live, right? There we go. People should be aware now if they weren't. Okay, so one of the Earthian Empire, how's it going? What we're working on today is reviewing a few of these, right? Tom, you're a mod. You should tell me what that is. Oh, neat. Thanks, Darren. All right. So, what we're working on today is the reviewing of the change on all of these new changes that we're working on, right? And gonna take into effect some of the possibilities of how that'll change the game. I think that this is generally going to work all right. So, when we look, okay, one thing was brought up about knockdown. Is definitely something to be reviewed. Whether or not knockdown or root is where we would go with the new change in the CC, right? So if knockdown, the pros on knockdown are that it is higher to whether or not it was sorry, saw some stuff going on in the chat here. Let me see here. What is this that we were taking a look at here? A Lego thingy. I don't know what's going on here. By the Shadow Productions. Alright, well, I mean, I don't know what you wanted done with that, right? But anyway, so knockdown versus root. Let me just grab root real quick, and we can add it in here and decide on which one is going to be better. Thematically, I like knockdown because it makes more sense that when you get hit by strong things, right? Then you get knocked down, grenades knock you down, very strong creatures knock you down. We would need to add a knockdown into Titan. It only makes sense. The Deadeye ability is that you hit them at the point when you would make them fall, right? You hit them in the right time to set them off balance, etc. That's just thematically. Now, game-wise, they both keep you from moving. But then furthermore, knockdown puts you into a position where you are, it's worst to be able to, it makes it worse for you to be able to defend, right? Or attack, because you don't have the ability to stand and properly maneuver your weapon. Some two-handed weapon users will in fact be, messed up by knockdown way worse than they would with root. Darren says, Knockdown is the best CC. It has a good theme, but it might be inappropriate for it to be super prevalent. Root is less thematic. CC is less strong. It can be more prevalent. Tom says, I think Knockdown would work fine if there's a clause for it. If it's unsafe or would cause pain or discomfort, you may plant your feet and crouch partially in lieu of dropping to a knee. Adrix says, what's poppin'? Just got in, I'll read and catch up, right. Tom also says, basically, take Knockdown unless there is a specific reason not to. Then you do something else that's kind of physically awkward. It's not a bad point. So what if, instead of doing this, if it is unsafe or you are physically unable to kneel down, you cannot move your feet, Anthony Wibble says Knockdown is also more satisfying to say. Yeah. That's true. Root, Knockdown, knock root, right. Call Knockdown, give it the root effect. That's okay. Here's another suggestion then. Let me word something here real quick for you guys. Right? What if Knockdown 1 is that one, or Knockdown 2 is when you're struck with a knockdown effect, you must plant your feet and count Knockdown 3. You cannot move your feet or make attacks, but can still defend until this count has been completed. All right, what do you guys think, right? So, if Knockdown 2, the Knockdown 2 is a different option. It wouldn't be, there would be two knockdowns. It would just be one of the two. For safety, you never have to go down to your knees. Players with bad knees never have to work with their knees here. But it does prevent you from making attacks, although you can defend. Stagger is a pretty cool name. Wow! Wow, that is a really cool name, and it does tell you quite a bit. Oh no, this is one of these two abilities that exist. The other one would cease to exist if we chose one, right? Oh, it acts like terror. That's a good point. It's a terror, but... yeah. It's a good point. That's a good point, Anthony. I didn't even think about that. But, okay, so... is it a bad thing? Right? Like, terror was janky because it was a weird effect. It only worked so often. It was just a side effect that almost never happened. And it used to never require you to get hit. You just got called on you, right? Right, it is technically better than Terror. But all in all, how does it feel as a status effect? Because if it was stagger, right, it would make sense. It would make sense that you get staggered by a grenade, right? Like I can actually just undo this and make this come back. But if we made this just happen right here, right, so that we can easily communicate what's happening here. And we made this a little bit bigger to read because you guys may be having vision issues with that one, right? So if stagger was here, right? What does KD2? Oh, stagger. You just can't make attacks. You can't use your gun, right? This is essentially an alternative form, side grade to Daze. Like, it feels really strong. Right. Having to plant your feet does nothing for a character with a gun. Does nothing. It does nothing to you. Root does absolutely nothing to a ranged character. Root is so boring, though. Just so boring. David Fletcher says, can Knockdown have an either-or statement, so if people don't want to kneel, they do the stagger effect? Yeah, that was actually something that I had started writing into one of them. Darren says, make it mandatory to mind being staggered. It pins them while you close with a rush. I mean, Daze does too. They won't see which direction you're coming from. And I mean, you can buy Daze grenades. So every character has access to them, essentially, right? This is... I put this off to the side so that we didn't make any changes to the draft. This is the... it was called Super Secret last night because I was very, very, very late at night when I named it. But here is the current document. And change this in the description here. I think that should work. That's the document that I'm currently looking at. This is the one with the changes that make it so that rush is a thing and immune counts are pretty much gone, right? And currently this this doesn't feel as bad thematically. Because the word roots is in my brain involves your feet for some reason. Basically all this does is it makes it so that you can't catch your the word stagger works better, right? Baird says, oh yeah, this cuts so much from the game. It does. And the primary thing it cuts is the, what was described once, and I can't remember who said this, as 30 seconds of immune counts and waiting to see who uses theirs the worst. It's, yeah, that's, I mean, essentially that's what this one cuts, right? This is 12. Right. Okay. So, I mean, if we find replace knockdown with stagger, match case, replace all. Right, I think that worked. Right, okay. Yeah, most of the effects weren't immune to status effects except Sunder, right? Just people seem a lot. I got a lot of complaints about it being, the amount of immunes and the access to immunes. I definitely know that the worst part of the game is when a character with rage gets on you for 3 seconds and you can't do anything about it. Like all the characters who didn't have access to concussion in 2018. Now, this is not saying that 2019 didn't have it, but when you are a character who cannot use concussion and a savage was on top of you and you just give up, that's, I mean, you're like, oh well, great, my character's not good enough, type of thing. It really feels shitty and isn't as fun. Right, there's far less immunities now, unless you go specifically for them. But let's see. What was the other points of contention? Okay, so if stagger's replaced, right, that it's root now, but it's just called stagger because root's a fucking dumb word. Let's see. This was fine. Nobody complained about that. Nobody complained about this. Nobody complained about these. The Guardian thing. Okay, the boom effect, right? This is the one. There was a bit of a to-do about this one, right? Rush not giving immune to melee is a distinction that's going to get lost frequently and via source of feels bad. I don't think so. There's way less like things to pay attention to now. And at this point, it's up to the savages just to ignore bullets. That's their job when they get rushed, or when they rush. I mean, I think it's at a manageable level, right? Can we make this bigger? Yeah. There we go. Covers up less, or I don't have to do much, right? Darren just says, I kind of just Googled staggered effect, and it was one of the things for a video game that popped up that was limiting actions. Right, exactly. The rush gives an interesting incentive for soldiers to drop their machine guns and pull melees, right? I mean, I don't want to encourage pulling melee. I mean, that's not what the spirit of the game is. But, I mean, it's what has to happen there. Rush doesn't need to be any better. Rush 3 is fine. Get within 3 seconds of running before you can get to somebody. I used to split view to bring the rules up on one side and watch this on it. Right. Yeah, it's good. Split view is awesome. So currently we've got the effect of whether or not a Guardian immune to boom is too good, right? Right, because the Deadeye loses as soon as the Savage gets within melee range of him. It should be a game there. Darren said, Deadeye still bones a rushing Sav. Oh, I mean, it avoid his attack. Thomas says, I think it's fine because Boom and Sunder and Range Sunder both exist personally. And they're lower in the trees than Guardian 9 is. Adrix says, I think it should be as long as you're using no other counts. What other count? Yeah, well, I mean, this wouldn't... You're just always immune to the damage from a boom. So, there are no boom counts that don't have other effects on them. The lowest level boom you can get is the Molotov. Which... Oh, that's right, Cease is gone. Okay, so this makes them immune to Molotovs. That's a good point. I forgot about that. I was thinking that there was another count on top of it, or there was another effect on top of it. And that they were still going to get that other effect. Yeah, it is required that you have a shield in your hand. And are not sundered. Right, but that was before they lost all of their immunes, right? So if it was once per encounter, it's not a 9, right? It's not a level 9. My thought before was that, say, take a grenade, that's a boom stagger, yeah, boom stagger 10 feet, right? You'd still get staggered. Before it was knocked down, which was different. Sunder and Flash would lock them out for 3. Okay, where are we at here? If you throw a boom, Sunder, then a flashbang, you're locking them out of their shields for a minimum of 6 seconds. I thought Sunder and Flash would lock them out for 3. Sunder got changed. It's the recover count. Well, then again, the recover count's not necessary. That change was made Friday. Baird. It was made Friday on the last live stream, and it was just a, you know, it's in the change list there. Though it may change back because it's not needed anymore, right? Sunder can just be a 3-second forced opening, right? Because you don't need the time. There is no immune counts for yeah, this is all just possible where the changes are going. Though I am leaning heavily towards it because this simplifies the game in ways that it's not even like funny, right? Like, it's this gets rid of a huge amount of the complaints that were brought up on 2019. The immune circle jerks, the questions about like the fact that cease and poison only exist because there's so many immunes, right? That's the only point that are there. If Sunder changes back, there's still Sunder silence locking for a Deadeye with a shield, or ripping a Guardian Savage out of a rush count. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, there's no point in necessarily needing to change it. It doesn't buff the anybody to change it the other direction, and it doesn't buff anybody to change them to this direction. It actually prevents terrible class combination possibilities. Right, which I'm fine with. I mean, honestly, the everybody's been complaining about how absolutely thick and unkillable everybody else is. This has just leveled everybody back down, mostly to the same level as the rest of the characters, right? For example, the character I was playing, Wilbur, had 2 flags. That was it. He had a possibility of 4, but I didn't wear armor. It's not, I mean, I'm not saying that is... I just don't... I feel you can survive for a long time with low hit points. Could you explain how you're doing that, Tom? Oh, you weren't necessarily the gigantic build flag, though. You weren't the 9. You weren't going from like 10 or 9 health flags. You were at 6, I think you said. Yeah, 6. Which is fine. I'm fine with 6 being a very, very tough person. Alright, so let's discuss this one. The whole idea here was to try to make it so that a strong person can be rather resilient towards the big AoE bombs, but there aren't enough effects on top of it that are doing anything anymore. The only thing that would cause a Guardian a problem is a missile, because they get dazed for that. And of course the Engineer's Bomb, which would sunder them. Though... once per encounter, resist to sunder. I mean, possibly, but that makes it so that you've just undone the Engineer's ability. Okay, I like what Darren just said there. Hold on, let's grab the Engineer's ability and take a look at it. Tom, that's going to make people wave their shield in the air to attempt to slap grenades out of the air. Engineer. I was still looking at... This was what we would base that on, right? The big deal is that I don't believe... The Guardian Shield tech, by itself, prevents infinite numbers of ranged attacks, right? Or melee attacks, just depending on where you place the shield, right? I think that the shield is very, very, very good. What if it gave Guardians once per encounter recover from their shield count? Wait a minute, I got it. Hold on. What if all Sunders on the Guardian were less? And that it promotes a cross class here. The gun tank, right, that a lot of people are talking about. Which is yeah, that's what I'm saying, recover 2. Soldier Guardian, high-level Guardian, mid-level Soldier would get that resist level. Soldier 4. Soldier 4 gives them reduced negative counts. So it would eventually become recover 1 if you were 9 Guardian 4 Soldier. Which I'm fine with, right? You still pop him out of your way. Prevent him from starting the count. Daze him. Stay on him before he gets a chance to do recover. I believe it doesn't say negative. It just says any hit with a status effect that requires you to make a count. It's right down here. It totally applies to recover. Soldier says, when you are hit with an effect that requires you to make a count, reduce the count by 1. Recover is the... It's the effect of the effect. The effect removes your shield until you can make this count. It's just the fact that you can make the count at any time is the only thing different about this type of status effect. I mean, it makes all Guardians better, and if all Guardians are better, all Guardian soldiers are going to be better. It doesn't make you nearly immune to Sunder. You get sundered, you have to put it behind your back, and then they hit you while that's happening. And they prevent you from making the count. Or you can't make any other accounts while that's happening. And it's 13 levels of character. Which... arguably is 7 levels of human. 6 levels of human. And it's only 1 status. It's not every status, it's just 1 Oh, wait. Shit, did I write that wrong? Or I thought I said Sunder. Yeah, just Sunder. There are plenty of other statuses that'll affect a Guardian as well. If you hit him with Sunder, like when he gets hit with a Engineer's Grenade, this messes with him real bad, right? He gets the Wait, where was I? Sorry. Started reading into this a little bit too much. Yeah, it does help prevent Savage locking you out of shields. It does help prevent lots of other things. But then again, the Savage has things to deal with that as well. They get their Daze attack. They get quite a few other things. Because if you get Sundered and then Dazed, you get wrecked, right? You don't get to get your shield back because you're making a different count. That prevents you from getting that thing. If you are... This does not make Gun Tank better. If Gun Tank was immune to Boom, it would be way better. Because there would be no way to break that Gun Tank out of a corner. If the Gun Tank got into a hallway, into a doorway, there's no way to break him out if he's immune to Boom. Making it so that he's harder to sunder is a little bit... is good, but... Boom immune is super good. When you talk about the fact that now you're immune to Savage's damage dealing thing, right? Well, one, Savage can also damage him behind his shield right now. If we take a look at Savage right now, there is a Savage ability here. Boom stagger 5 foot on me. You cannot block that with your shield. There's nothing that stops that. But also bringing this up, right? Boop-a-doop-boop-boo. It's supposed to be like a whirlwind attack, right? That it's just so strong your shield does nothing. Right. I mean, Gun Tank is a good build, right? It's an expensive, good build. Because it costs you money to maintain, right? Constantly costs you money to maintain. There are so many times that I was unable to recover ammunition in the middle of stuff. And yeah, Rush Sunder. Or a trader who's just made a bunch of explosives, right? At that point, they beat the Gun Tank, right? A trader who's decided that he wants to take the consumable extra craft thing and make extra explosives or whatever. He bursts them. Right. It is to spam Boom, right? That's a good point. What if... Do Savages need an instant Sunder? Yeah. All right, so Anthony says that Rush Thunder doesn't really work. You have to have 2 seconds between them. That was something that I was thinking. What if... Okay, what if you called focus and then you got to attack? Missed the hell out of disarm. I've been trying to figure out where the hell disarm would go if we brought it back. It is one of the ones that has received the most, hey, bring this back. I just don't know where it would go. Because you give it to Guardians, and now the Guardians win against the Savages again, and the Savages lose their minds. They ask for immune to disarm, and then it's a pointless skill. I mean, like, this is just saying it in a lot of people's favorite words, right? Is this too good? All this allows you to do is to charge it before you have to use it again. It's exactly the same as it was before, only you can... I definitely thought about that, Whipple. That's actually a good point, too. Survivor disarm. That could be pretty funny. Survivor has to slap it out of their hand like, no! Like, stop that. Oh, okay. Let's take a look here. Mr. Hershey Dumps, what up? Yes, technically you can in this write-up, and I don't see a problem with it. It gives Savages an incentive to pick up a damn gun. You're just sitting there going, cap, 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 while you focus, right? This song is funky. All right, we had some comments on the shield size thing. That's definitely something we're going to talk about here in a minute. Asking if your character is bigger than you are physically. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see. Where were we at? Thomas Riley says, fuck it, guns can generally eat my ass when I have a shield in my hand. Hershey Dump says, just joined, first thing I heard. I also love the idea of a Corsair Savage who does pistol cutlass. Hell yeah. All right, so. Where we were at right here is that they make it so they can't make melee attacks during the count. And your next melee attack before the end of the encounter has a sunder effect. So this allows you to stand away from somebody going focus 1 or focus 2, focus 1, and then have sunder charged, use your rush, close with the guardian, sunder, and then attack. If you want to sunder again, make another focus count. Savage Deadeye is the shield buster. Okay, so the question down in the list as we were going down, well, okay. I'm going to note a thing down here at the bottom under this new thing of Rogue I was writing, and we will be going through this here in a minute. And I will write disarm. And then the other idea was Deadeye and Survivor. What the fuck, fat fingers? Do what you're supposed to do. Alright. Alright, we are going down the list. There is... Okay, Guardian, currently. We leave Guardian. And Mr. Hershey Dumps, if you want to give your input on this. This is the replacement for Boom. For a negative boom. Adric says disarm would be significantly better with the same wording as the current soldier. Doing dishes. Okay. Well, if you get a chance to take a look at this document, take a look at Guardian 9. Yeah, 2 Hyperfires with Deadeye. Good to go. Alright. Soldier. Soldier is where we were. Darren says left for a sec. What'd I miss? -1 status effect account on Sunder. Savages are able to charge their focus count, so they can focus 2, focus 1, and then use their rush, and then on their next melee attack, have Sunder on it. But they can't do another Sunder until they make another focus count. And they can't attack during the focus count. So it does let them charge up the attack before they get there. Let's see. Is this... we're gonna bypass Rogue. And go back down to Soldier 10. Question about whether or not this should be a grenade or a Molotov. We'll be moving to disarm. Don't you worry, Adric. That is, I've got it listed down there below. Currently, they're going to get a free reusable Molotov, which is just Boom. But a grenade is stronger. Much stronger. As it has a status effect on it in addition to a in addition to damage. Should it be a free AoE damage or a free AoE root, essentially, right? The stagger command condition. A free flashbang that essentially gives Soldier 10 a burnless mutant 2 or bioelectrogenesis 2 that can be thrown, which makes it about on the level as a level 2 racial, because that racial comes with a bunch of other shit. I kind of like the idea of every soldier having a fucking... Right. Like, yeah, Tom, I was just saying that, yeah. If you... I mean, that's not a bad idea. If this was... Flashbang. Now, it doesn't do damage, but it's a stronger crowd control, right? No, Darren, that's a little too strong. That's a way too strong ability. Tom says part of it is that I vaguely fear packs of Soldier X characters being able to roll up and then just throw 6 bombs. Yeah, once per encounter for sure. I mean, currently they can do that. You could have a group of Soldier 1s that run up with a grenade each and just explode a bunch of people, right? That's a really good point there, Adric. That's a pretty fun one. So Anthony says, I still fear that with 6 flashbangs, but the flashbangs don't deal damage. They do the thing, right? But it is a good point, right? Will a group of soldiers be able to do that? The other point would be that a group of level 4 mutants with a health flag cost to themselves could do the same thing, only in melee. So it's slightly less dangerous because you don't have the threat of ranged attacks as much, right? And they've got to close in order to make it deal damage. This was asked if this could work on flashbangs, and flashbangs are too easy to craft, and they're the best CC in the game. So I was not involving them. Anthony says mutants are going to be hitting each other in melee too. Yeah, correct. Right. I mean, like I was saying, it wasn't a perfect analogy. It was just a thing that could be done. But with the flashbang, it's significantly less strong than a grenade or a Molotov because of the fact that it doesn't deal damage. Let me think here for a second. Yeah, Daze does not make you hold still. You can run. You just gotta look down while you do it. With a flashbang, rogues are also a counter strategy to a strategy with the new prop. Correct. Yeah, so I think we're gonna go with the flashbang on 10. I think that's where we're gonna go with that. And now we bring up the soldier change, not soldier change, shield change here, right? So this was something that I suggested today. The size of shields currently are, many people are very aggravated by the size of shields. 42 by 42 is real damn big. And everybody, you know, arguably, I'm not saying that they're wrong, is aggravated going up against these mobile towers. And the strength of builds like gun tank, the accessibility of 4 levels in to get a shield. Hold on, what's going on? Guardian Rogue with a boom immune would be so sick. Oh yeah, no, I'd already thought about that. Tom's proposal from Facebook is literally what's written right here. But, so currently we've got a maximum width equal to the length between your elbows if your knuckles are touching, right? Or 26 inches, whichever one ends up being larger. The maximum height means the difference between your throat and your knees, or 32 inches, whichever is larger. And then the rest of the rules are all normal. I think that this is a fair compromise for shields. People who were aggravated when they were really small because they were really big, this helps them with that. People who are smaller, they get a smaller shield, but they still receive the same amount of coverage, up to a point of when it starts to get ridiculous for it to be too small, then those smaller players get more coverage. Mr. Herbsy Dump says, I like the proposal for shields. I'm tired of being discriminated against for being tall. Yeah. The idea of shield mods, right? If you did shield mods, right? When you would need to carry around a ton, right? A ton of different shields. So, if I killed you and took your shield mod for your 4242, you now have to go find a 2632 somewhere in order for you to use a shield again. Or everyone has to build strange modular shields, and strange modular shields could fall apart when bashed into walls, or you smash along a tree or whatever. And then you've just got fittings and stuff sticking along the side. I'm going to go through the Facebook post for this one. There's quite a few points in here. We just got one from Jacob Olsen saying, this is a fair ruling. Darn it, though, I had a full-body deployable riot shield in the works, and now it can't work. Kelson Bowman says, what if your character is bigger than you are physically asking, or you are physically asking for a shrimpy sword boy? Wait a second, hold on. What if your character is bigger than you are, and they are asking for a shrimpy sword boy? The big deal is that if you're at that point, you would just have people, you know, everyone would use the same shield size, and you'd be punishing people who are physically bigger for being physically bigger. I mean, at that point, you imagine your shield is bigger too, because it covers the same amount of you. I mean, that's basically the only solution there, as far as I can tell, for fair sake. Let's see. We've got a call out for no shield mods. We've got a good fuck tower shields. And then bingo on imagination. Yeah, I think that's the only way to deal with it, right? You feel free to imagine how big your character is and describe your character to other people in large size or whatever, right? That's perfectly fine. But mechanically, for game fairness, you should not get a larger shield because you imagine you're bigger. Because the smaller guy, or the bigger guy, can't imagine his you know, 42 by 42 to be bigger if it doesn't cover him. And we've got some guys who are super, super tall for that, you know. But I think shield sizes is definitely going to make the change. I'm still highly leaning towards all of these new changes here because I think it does so much for it. Let me get into the spicy The spicy. All right. We got 8 people watching. That's enough for the spicy discussion here, right? Rogue, right? One of the original suggestion in here was to create 4 lockpicking perks, and then create the rogue class, which just does rogue stuff. And there was some discussion about the fact that it kind of got shoehorned into both using 2 weapons and for using thrown weapons. But that's a good point. You may not have to want to use those things if you're playing this class to get the other things. So we moved to being able to try and give them a choice. And immediately I got flack about removing... I got praise and flack for removing lockpicking from the rogue class. So, lockpicking 1 is now rogue 1, right? Lockpicking 1 levels up based on how many levels of rogue you have. It is no longer a dead weight in the middle of the class, and going down rogue makes it better. Adric, are you saying that this should be a pick one type of class, or are you telling everyone that they should pick one class and then be happy with it? Because that's not fun. Okay, so Rogue 2, I've currently got a choose one, which would be the pick one in the first way that I described that I thought you were talking about it, right? Okay. Pardon me. So, Rogue 2 is the ability to dual wield, or to dual wield throwing weapons, right? So that you can attack with throwing weapons, right? 1-2 before a reset, right? Which basically it chews up both your hands, and later in the perk. I'm not necessarily sure that we were going to do a choose for everything, but it would be based on what you chose at the beginning, right? So, like, Rogue 3 or Rogue 5 would be right, we just call that 2 weapon fighting, and we call this thrown weapon fight, giving choose ones to every tree would require an infinite amount of bloat. We would end up making up things for no reason. Thomas says, what if shield mods could give you sunder resistant, or like a booby trap shield that dazes someone that sunders it, a la upgrade planks? Oh, okay, yeah. I would love to make it so that every class was every perk was a choice. If I could, without creating an infinite number of bloat, I would have done that already. If you chose 2 weapon... Well, this shouldn't be... And then this one... I didn't need to copy the word specialization for no reason, but I did. And then... Actually remove that. These actually don't need to be bullet points because they're not choices. And then this becomes the text for this level down here. And then this level down here. Okay. So, one of the abilities that was added to the first time that we talked about, or the first time I redid Rogue, was trap immunity. I had a rather vocal Rogue tell me that they disliked the trap, then thought about it, then said they liked the trap immunity, and then had someone say that trap immunity is pointless. And then I had some other people come to me and worry that trap immunity was going to completely ruin their trapper character, because it essentially removes their entire character. So I have not gotten any, like, constructive feedback about it necessarily. I've gotten I don't like this a few times, or this is useless a few times, but then I've also got some other ones that are about how this is too strong. So it's really hard to judge where this thing really is, right? And it says I have mixed feelings, and yeah, it counters an entire character. Correct, right? Traps are pretty strong with daze, though. Trapper needs to be looked at, for sure. Okay, but then let's go down here to... I was at 4, right? And then this one was going to be... that doesn't work, actually. All right, hold on. Yeah, stagger is the new word for root to thematically help it, because it comes off of grenades, it comes off of getting hit real hard, it comes off of getting hit real correctly. Hold on, what's going on? How do thrown weapons work as far as cards go? You don't need an item card, and they take up an inventory slot. Yes. So physically carrying them increases your inventory. So if you physically have 5 thrown weapons on you, that's 5 to your carry capacity right now, right? And then for the thrown weapon specialization perk, we were currently, it lets you you can throw. We should probably just make it like this actually would work better. But I guess this says this word right here. I think this wording works better right here. Before resetting. Okay. Alright, and then let's see. Same with pistols. No card, but it eats inventories, right? Yeah, you can definitely have a bunch of hammer shots if you want, right? 10 jolts live on hard mode. Totally possible. Alright, so currently Rogue 2 sits with the ability to get dual wield. So it is 2 levels in to get dual wield from Rogue. But you could also get multi-throw, right? Then, once per encounter, call resist with a trap effect. Maybe 2 of 4. What am I missing? Rogue can gain the ability to not have inventory restriction for thrown weapons at a higher tier. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Alright, if you chose thrown weapon specialization with your Rogue 2 perk, yeah, unloot, like, I mean, because the melee weapons are unlootable currently, right? It's not a bad idea at all. I want to make sure I've got the Rogue stuff somewhere. Where did I put it? Okay, here it is. I wanted to make sure that I didn't lose the original Rogue that I wrote here, because there's some abilities that need to come over. Like, I think Pocket Sand was one of them. What do you think about that? Just worse than strong back. Yeah, that's a good point. But I guess this is free if it's just thrown in here in addition, right? So right here, you would gain 5 thrown weapons, right? The Shishao ability goes about right here. It's once per encounter. You can call daze on your thrown on a thrown weapon attack. Or with. Let's see here. Yeah, if it's free, it's fine. That's what I said. Okay, gotcha. If you're getting other stuff, it's a nice quality of life. Excellent. Each hand. Well, currently it should just be once, right? Oh, I gotcha. It's kind of funny too. I'll be making sure that there's super differential words between thrown grenades and thrown weapons. Yeah, thrown melee weapon is a good point. it should only work on the melee weapon, right? Oh, I got some messages here. Hold on. All right. And yeah, there's something on Deadeye we're going to take a look at. Okay, so we've got Rogue 2. Rogue 3 is the trap effect. Yes, it may not be for everybody. And then, but we'll figure that out. Now the stagger effect, and then is 4 too low for... And this is a question, right? This may be too strong. Now, this is thrown weapon shotguns, right? 4 may be far too low. It will cause Ninja Star builds. Kind of wondering, you know, if it should. Well, they got a danger sense, and it's way down at the bottom because it's immune to any status effects from AoE. Except for the damage. I mean, not quite sure, right? Yeah, that is what it is right now, Tom. So, I mean, put it there, right? Technically, the way that this is written right now, right, would be 4. Because, that's just the way it's written. It might be way too strong, right? And we could write in, right? So at this point, this would let you, you know, put a handful of Ninja Stars in one hand and then grab 2 and throw and throw and throw, right? The problem with this, Tom, is when they get within 2 feet of you. They don't miss. You get hit 4 times. If it's a 4-shot thing, right? It's close range reusable shotguns. So do we make a minimum size for thrown weapons? That's a good point. We make a minimum size for thrown weapons. I mean, that is the best way to go about that, right? So that they're rough, right? So it's not easy to do that. Same goes for 2 shotguns, a strong armor, a machine gun. Right. I don't have a fucking outline for these yet because I was redoing them. Okay. But just so I can say it right now, we say the minimum size for a throwing weapon is 6 inches by 2 inches. So that you can make a knife. Too large. What would you suggest, Baird? Hold on a second. That makes a good sense because it had you're saying that the thing for the pipe foam, right? Because if it was made out of pipe foam, it would need to be a minimum size or a minimum allowed size, right? Four inches is real small. Like real small. All right, well, I will put on my list right now of things to do is to research thrown weapon sizes in other LARPs, just to take a look to see what everybody else does. But now I've got some suggestions and ideas. Anyway, now we've got the ability that you can throw 2 at once. You currently are allowed to throw 2 in one hand. And later... down here at the higher level one, I was thinking, right? Whoa. Okay, so... So, a high-level one that lets them, you know, shotgun with both hands, right? Okay, but as we go down this list, we've got the stagger, we've got the one-hand thrown shotgun. When striking with a melee weapon from behind, call the daze effect, so they get the daze from behind. I was looking at that. It's definitely not a 10. It is easily a 5. Right, that's what I was talking about. Like, I was thinking that 4 was a really small minimum size, but, you know, that's just personal opinion right now. While I don't have one in front of me, and I can't throw one and put a bunch in a pocket, so... all right, so one effect that we are losing right now that is or not losing, but is not in this current theory is the ability to get through the fortified walls. This was very, very, very split. There were people who stated that this was a terrible ability. There were people who stated that this was a great ability. Hold on just a second. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's see. What happened to engineer? What are you referring to? Ader says, I like the idea of it. It allows you to slip in an entrance that might not normally be guarded 24/7. I think there was a set of number of boards that you can move through so a town can't get rogue proof. Engineer just smashes through the walls, right? The engineer is the one who destroys the walls and would get your rogue through the wall. Yeah, that's a good point, right? You could get through far more walls than I could. The big problem with the, like, so say if there are, you know, only a few walls or something like that, right, that you can get through. Do you get to move the boards because they're going to be in the way? Yeah, Baird, this was proposed this Friday. So if we were talking about that one, right, I was looking for a 6, right? So, less than... I mean, just to say 4 or less right now, right? We can change the word. I'm not even thinking about, like, the balance there. Just so I have something that's written there. The number can now shift when we talk about it. But, this will cause everyone to put all of the boards in whatever location they can. That will cause it to be the hardest to move through. What if it was... Do they even need an ability like this? I mean, this was rather popular when they used to have it. When we did have the fort boards, right? It gives rogues possibly the ability to get through a wall while it's not defended. One of the things is if you're attacking a town, you could send in an advance force, right? The troublesome thing with phase shift was that you had to, stop and go through locks, right? right? This you don't have to go through locks. Okay, so in this version of it, right, because all of the fortification walls have two panel sides for it, right? It's an 8x8 square that is split down the center, and 4-foot boards stretch across both of the 8x8 side, or the 4x8 doors, right? Essentially, if your wall has been breached on one of those doors, you still have to remove all of the boards before anyone is allowed to come inside. With this suggestion, rogues would be able to be an advanced force that went through while you were working on the other side, right? Right, as soon as they pass through that wall, they're a legal target. If they stand in the door, they can't attack. As soon as they pass through the door, they can't attack either. Or they can attack as soon as they're passed through the wall. Makes more sense to play an NG rogue to me than the rogue specifically. Oh, I see. That's kind of a dick move. How many people would be crushed if this just went away? All right. Like, we could say once per encounter. We could. And that would prevent the jumpy, backy, forthy thing. But then if you entered during not an encounter, then you snuck in, and you'd be allowed to sneak back out by run out. You could still run. Tom, twice per encounter could be pretty easily abused. You snuck in, not in an encounter, you fight someone, you hop out, you wait till they turn their back, you hop back in, right? Yeah, they're like, I think that there's enough ways to get into a town. Because the rogue already has the lockpick, right? He can just lockpick his way into town later. Or anywhere else on 2 of the other walls. What if Rogue let you pull boards quietly? That gets super abusey because there's no way to verify he's actually making the account. So middle of the night, nobody's guarding the wall. He just takes all the boards down. I made all those counts. You couldn't hear me. I was quiet. It's just pretty abusable, right? Lockpicking is an audible count. Yeah, it's an audible count. You do have to make counts as loud as talking loud normally, right? You just, all counts are made talking normally. Whispering is a violation of rule number 1. That was... Right, it's just supposed to be an audible sound, right? I was thinking whether or not we were going to add the requirement for volumes that gets just squidgy. I know that there's one instance in the book right now where it says this must be yelled loudly, and I don't think that that's supposed to. I mean, that was just an old wording that should be removed. Everything should be audible. Just, it should be at a use your outside voice, right? Where were we at? Still at 6. Because these two are fine. And then the other choose to here is supposed to be, yeah, days. So we've got the thrown weapons all the way done through this, right? The melee weapons here. Because that actually, Rose lowered assassinate. Oh, that was the other thing. It was supposed to be, this one is... That's what that one was supposed to be. We can look at the wording on that on count volumes, but I'm just worried that it's going to get mired. So the an assassination count for rogues, right? Do they need it? Do we need to provide a class ability for the pansiest thing in the game? I get it thematically, right? It makes sense thematically. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does make your friendly rogue who just tries to play a very friendly character. Right. It would make a friendly rogue character have an ability that, right. They don't need faster lockpicking. They already have the fastest lockpicking there can be. You can be a friendly ninja, right? Yeah, Robin Hood was a rogue. All right. Skip 6 for a minute and finish up the melee calls on the choose one. So there's one more melee ability that rogues need to get. And currently right now they can stagger. They can daze from behind. What else could a 2-weapon fighter do? Oh, I mean, if we were talking about disarm, they'd get it. All right, so if we were talking about disarm, right? Sword. I'm going to reject your sword plus hyperfire there. Okay, so disarm right here, right? What else are we talking about tonight? These changes, and if we've got time, I would love to start discussing things about the scavenging cards, the recipes, that type of stuff. That would be the next thing after this that I would like to go trying to work into. Now, feel free to wander away at any time, Darren. You can always come back and watch this again or go take a look. Ask what's going on. The change document is right here. This document is everything that is going to be, suggested. I have made absolutely no changes to the live document currently with this right here. Like, no changes have been made in the draft. So if disarm came back, right? Do we just move murder further down the tree and give 7 the disarm? Do we replace this stagger count with a focus disarm? So, if we went to the current Savage, and grabbed Savage 2, throw down here into Ragu. I don't care, Armello. Your game was fun, but I don't play it anymore. I don't know how I got subscribed to that. And we made this. Nope, that is wrong. That is wrong. What did I do there? That is a good point, Baird. What if rogues could stagger all the time? Since root's not the worst negative effect, stagger is not a game ender. It just makes you hold still. There's no other counts you really get to start. There's no immunes to worry about not being able to create. What's the fuck, Bard? Or Baird? What happened? What's going on? I see the fuck in the chat. Yep, that's what I was wondering. Just a thought process. Like a rogue could stop you from running away. Right, but there's no counts you get to make as the defending player. There's no immunes to make. There's rush, right? It would lock you out of rush. What is it locking you out of in this current suggestion? Oh, Deadeye aiming counts. That's a good point. Focus. Yep. I just wasn't thinking about what those. That is a good point. That's the answer I was looking for. Yeah, no, that's way too strong. But it's not a 7th level ability to be able to call once. If you're trying to make a medic count while a rogue is on top of you calling attacks, you've got bigger problems than a medic or an armorer count. But the phrase here. Wow, that was a fucked up sentence right there. All right, what about this one? All right, let's read here. Once with each hand per encounter, or maybe after a focus count. It makes it really good, but someone can break free once they are there. The current reload counts for Chemist and Deadeye. I like Focus Stagger. It feels weird that there's only one charge up melee attack in the game under Savage. Right, he's got Focus Stagger here. Or Focus Disarm, but not Focus Stagger. Should it have to be on the same target, or do we like charging it on someone for the surprise? I don't mind that, right? If repeat dead arm exists or disarm exists, then I think cold hands has to exist. The solution is don't get hit by the attack when he attacks you. I mean, there's no perk to avoid daze. There's no perk to avoid sunder. Don't get hit. Getting disarm locked makes you totally helpless. I mean, they should have died by the time they get locked, because you deal damage when you hit people, right? There's Soldier 4. That's a good point. I hate the idea of just putting in perks to do away with something we just created, right? Because all it does is just create this dichotomy of, all right, well, I've got the perk, I no longer pay attention to that thing. And then it gets into the idea where everybody's like, well, those abilities suck. Then they stop taking it. Then people complain that Cold Dead Hands doesn't do anything for them. Yeah, block the disarm with your weapon. That's a good point. Here's the idea. Now you can't lock it. You can't lock anybody down anymore. Once you get hit with one disarm, can you still block? No. Right, but what he's saying, yeah, he's saying block the attack that's coming in with the disarm. Right, I mean, that's the same thing with stun, like, and you can't attack during the focus count, so he has 3 seconds to figure it out, to figure out your attack is coming, right? Or if he hits you with a disarm, start running, right? Like, if you know that you're not going to be able to block that attack, start running. My attack strat at that point is to charge, disarm, swing with both weapons for damage disarm. Right, but they get 3 seconds to attack you because you can't attack back during this, right? They could, I mean, at that point, they could recklessly abandon and attack you. Right. While you're charging your next disarm, you can't hit them until they get 1 second back, and then they block your attack again. So the lock can never happen, right? You get 3 seconds of attacking them without a weapon, then they get their weapon back, then you have or you charge, right? So you can't attack them while you counting for your focus. So they have the weapon behind their back, right? You are trying to... Right, exactly what Anthony said. By the time you can re-disarm them, they have a weapon to parry again. There's a gap between finishing the disarm count and actually being ready to block or attack again. Well, I mean, the most simple solution is this. Right? Now there's plenty of time. Savage does work the same way. I copied and pasted that directly from it, didn't I? Yeah. You can't attack while sundering. Yes, it has been changed many times now. It is definitely a variable that has been moving around. Disarm is the #1 most requested status effect to come back to the game. I mean, everybody wants it back. Yeah, and Soldier 4 is a fantastic way to work around Cold Dead Hands. Or being Cold Dead Hands, right? I think we're it's okay, Tom. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay where we're at. Anthony said with Focus 4 it's not very repeatable. I believe so. All right, one more rogue ability, and then the new rogue has a new idea, right? Like there's a new feel behind rogue. It's not forced to use one type of weapon type, but it gets to choose between two different ones that give it a bunch of crazy abilities. And then let's see. One more thing that Rogue needs to do, right? It got it lost the ability to go through the walls. It can still pick locks. There's almost nothing we can do to give it a stealth ability, except, and this was brought up. Tom communicated it for someone else, right? Tom said that someone else had suggested that it might be fun for her. The only problem is this would end up being used as an offensive ability as much as a defensive ability. And this was supposed to be like a Ninja Vanish, right? Idea. But Pocket Sand definitely exists. Pocket Sand is right here. Rogue 7. It's one more past that. What up, Mr. Alex Ruff? Welcome to the stream. So rogues still definitely have Pocket Sand. It's never going away. It's my favorite thing in Rogue because it's hilarious. Since stealth is not a mechanic anymore, that's very true. Now that was the other part of the suggestion, right? So currently, Rogue X allows rogues to flashbang their feet and be fine, right? What if it was null disarm with a focus 2 count? It could lock down someone, but that's assuming you're 1v1 and it causes no damage. Yeah. The complaint was that lockdown is anti-fun. Yeah, and Adric brings up the fact that they could run, right? Yeah, and 2-weapon fighting, so you could still be doing a damage while disarming, because you'd get to attack with 2 weapons. One would deal damage, one would deal the null attack. At the exact moment of doing the disarm attempt, right? The moment that you're hitting with the disarm, you could hit with both weapons. All right, let's see. One more ability. Where was the thing? I had a thing aside. Oh, yeah, that was just to pass through fortified walls, so get rid of that. And, okay, so that's the question. Should a rogue be allowed to ignore the effects of his own grenade? I'm teetering on the edge on this one. I don't know. Like, I am in both camps at this one right now. They still take the damage from an explosive, but they would take nothing from a flashbang, which would... They currently take boom, right? Boom specifically works. An OPE shrug off for rogue. JMG says, I feel like Rush might get drowned out. Also, Rage is really fun to yell. In a slightly different topic. Just thought of it, so I wanted to throw that in. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely a point. I was just worried about the fact that people are going to confuse Rage with Old Rage. And, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily founded, right? And I mean, it's a fucking 4-letter change, right? Like, if we did find and replace here, Rush, and change it with Rage, and add the space so it doesn't grab any special ones. Replace all. Wait, let me undo what just happened. Fuck. I forgot to keep cases. Rush. Replace it with Rage. And it should match all the cases? No? Damn it. Did it just change everything like a... S for Savage, hold on. Whatever. I'll do it here. And then these two down here, there's one here. There's one up here. There we go. All right. GMG says he'll be like a monkey going after bugs. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Right, exactly. All right, where were we at here? OP effect shrug would let you smoke bomb effectively. Also, what JM said, screaming rage at people is so damn fun. A lot of other things are changing. What the actual effects are and keeping the same wording, which I've received complaints on both sides about. I just need to figure out what, if I care. about whether or not there's going to be rules lag because of it, right? And honestly, I think that everybody's going to have 4 months of completed rules to just sit there and get the fact that rage is different in their head. But there definitely will be people who see that they have rage and not pay attention. Let's see. Sunder, disarm, no. What are we talking about here? Well, not the exact same wording, but hey, right, exactly. Also, this is JM. In case I didn't assume first, but then Tom said, as JM said. Tom says we've gotten the rest of the rushes. I think they're marked as suggestions. Excellent. Boop. Excellent. We've done it. We've done it. Tom docs JM. Yep, exactly. All right. So, where the fuck were we? Rogue 6. Rogue 6. And, okay. So far, the people in this chat, what do you guys think about this rogue, the new rogue that we were working on today, right? Versus the rogue that I suggested yesterday. This one here. The one that can go through board walls, the one that has to use both, like, is anybody going to be sad if I just make that one go away? I don't think anybody will be. If my gauge of how everybody was feeling so far. I did just paste over the old one. Those bastards. So, only one ability left to come up with this one, right? Only one ability left, which is the Rogue 6. The Ninja Vanish is probably not going to work. If we did a once per encounter, right? I mean, we should just go to Survivor and steal Survivor, because that's exactly what it does. Only without the burn. Where to go, where to go, where to go, where to go? Or Soldier, right? It's actually, I just realized, this is Survivor 4. Soldier 4 is this only better. Wait, what am I doing? Holy shit! I just brained that super hard. Hold on. There. Right. Soldiers doesn't give immunity to mercy. That is correct. So yeah, I guess Survivor, you would go down for that. You would go down that way for a different thing, right? You would go there for different reasons. Survivor 4 is immunity to easy slavery, right? You have to be knocked out, then you have to be revived in order to be enslaved as a Survivor 4, so kind of an interesting way of going about it. I don't think it needs to be changed. But anyway, that's a new rogue suggestion, right? What would people think of a return of cheat death as a high-level rogue move? Alexander Ruff says boo, and I'm assuming that that is to Survivor being hard things to slave. Was cheat death the extra life? Oh, yeah. Shit, that's a really good one. But yeah, that's a little bit more Survivor, I think, right? Let's see. Which also carried murder immune, which was more relevant at the time. Yeah. There's only one way to get murder, and it's rogue. Or bad doses of wakey. Carry down a bunch of wakey, and then just fucking open them till one's a murder. Shove drugs into a Survivor that you're having trouble getting rid of. When that happens, because it will, I'm very happy about it, right? Because you can't tweak with whether or not a chem is an overdose. So if you just buy a bunch of wakey and like go kill a Survivor, and yeah, you just cram him full of wakey till he dies. I don't know if we need that, but exactly what Anthony said. Use wakey. Nope, that didn't work. Smack. Use wakey. Nope, that didn't work. Smack. Use wakey. Haha, that would work. Fuck that guy. All right. Let's go to... Okay, this is done. All right. This right here, this suggestion set is good. We need the disarm. We were going to take a look into adding that into Deadeye. The idea there was that it's a possibility that Deadeye's mercy call goes away. I'm just going to grab all of Deadeye because there's a lot that it could go into, right? Deadeye, X, and then... Eight. Wait, is that 4 or 6? That's 4. And then 2, 3, and 2. All right. Let's take a look here. All right. So one of the options, this still says cease, but that's because of the fact that got changed to, I guess that's stagger now. Oh, I guess you can get murder through Deadeye. That's the other way. So there's Deadeye and Rogue. They get Deadeye, Rogue, and overdosing on Wakey. That gets you murder. Where would Deadeye get it? Because 3's too early, I think. Three too early. I have some other suggestions that we should talk about on Deadeye as well. But so Deadeye 3, if the Mercy accounts went away and Deadeye essentially was the way to get Mercy on your attacks, you know, hold on. What if this became... Shit, yeah, no, this is good. We grab that and we go through here and we got cease and desist. Should cease and desist become the one that has the reload count, right? Because the reload count is really, really thematic. It's really nice, right? Tom, I heard way more no's about that than I ever heard about for it. So a lot of people were all like, I don't want to be a cop. I want to be a sniper, right? So, should Bounty Hunter get the reload count? It nerfs Bounty Hunter cease and desist, but it stays thematic as fuck. I really like the feel of the reload count. I like the idea. Is there a miscellaneous change? I guess there isn't. I'm going to put it under Deadeye changes. What the fuck are we listening to? This is like Yoshi's Island meets fucking the Imperial March. This is the most insane song I've ever heard. So that would be what it is, right? All right, time for unpopular opinion suggestions. And this is a definite balance thing, right? Just a thought. Did I be restricted from using a multi-shot mod and a full auto mod? Get out of my brain, Adric. I was literally just about to bring that up. Right? Should Deadeye's called shots not be able to be used on machine guns, right? Because the biggest deal is going to be that the machine gun, you've got a hyperfire that's all sped up, right? You make your count. Your count is, say, a daze or a sunder or whatever it is that's going to help you with that shit. And then immediately you just continue holding down the trigger after you fire your first shot, right? So, that should be something that should be slowed down. I don't know if I want to make it unmodded because I definitely don't want the rifle sniper guy to not exist, right? The count is to open them up, right? So say you're fighting a guardian and you want to sunder them, and then there's a bullet spray once their shield is out of the way, right? Still gotta wait for the shield to move. Yeah, I suppose, right? Well, and then I don't see a reason why you couldn't have laser Deadeyes, right? Laser Deadeyes seem fun. Plasma Deadeyes. I don't see a reason why you can't shotgun Deadeye. I know that it's strong, but the shotguns are notoriously not accurate at all. But what I'm saying is, should we add full auto to a restricted list on this, right? Depends on the choke setting. I'm talking about specifically the Nerf gun shotguns are notoriously inaccurate, right? But yes, I know you can choke up real hard. Solution to limitation, have a hammer shot in one hand and a full auto in the other. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, it does prevent you from using your double called shot. So, I mean, literally, if it was just in under Deadeye 2 specifically, right? And it stated... Fucking fingers. Alright. I think this is good. I mean, I think it actually helps the game. It definitely gives it removes part of the thing that people were worried about. It doesn't keep people from using a machine gun. A machine gun is still a good thing. Deadeye could still use a machine gun. He's just not going to get any of his fancy calls off. So, it's Tom says, fine with dual wield also means a savage rushes you. You're helpless unless you drop a gun. Savages with flashbangs are going to be real scary in a good way. Alex Ruff says, I like the change. Anthony says, disarm hyperfire or daze hyperfire still solves savages to an extent. Yeah. Yep. All right. So I think that actually covers everything on this list here to the point of where we could start talking about the new trade system stuff, right? I think. I don't think there's anything else. So go up to the top. We refresh this thing. Go down to shield sizes changes. Get another page going on just in case. It's been a while, so people haven't seen this. Let me copy it and put it in the talk. Anthony says one thing. Just yeah, what's the one thing? Go ahead. Elite Guard 3. This is the wrong document. What did I do there? All right. All right. Oh, ha, good point. Yeah, this gets wrecked. All right. The other two along the lines, right? You resist an effect if you're near a Zunak, and you, if you're near a Zunak, you get to bodyguard them once, right? Disarm makes sense since they are a guard, right? Oh, neat. I'm not gonna put this in the change log, because that's just a thing that needs to be there. Melee weapon? Yes, no. They're the only disarm that has no count before it. Okay. I think that's addressed. Does anybody else have like? I mean, yeah. Before we move on to brand new stuff that's completely in the middle of it. Uh, it already does. Disarm is a recover count. Does anybody else have anything before we move on to the trade goods stuff, right? All good. I don't expect everybody to see everything. There's so much that happens. So much. You guys don't have another 40 hours a week to watch all the shit I do every week, right? All right. I mean, shield bashing could become a thing. There are games that use it. It's a thing. It will require extensively created shields. Every shield that's ever been at Afterworlds is banned from the game. Everyone would need to have these big fluffy padded pillow shields. It's a thing that they've done before, and lots of people are concerned about them. Like, it's a thing that, like, the concern occurs, right? Falls too much into checking without actually striking a shield prop, right? It would be metal as fuck, right? Huh. Hold on. Is there anything I hate in here? Guardian 10 is kind of wiggy, right? So this effect does not solve all of the Sunder issues that we were talking about. This wouldn't give them a it wouldn't give them the thing that they need, right? Because we just went through like, you know, 45 minutes of their talk about it. Blah 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 blah. Because, I mean, what we do is we grab Savage. Nah, because you're going to hurt all your friends. It's always going to happen in front of your friends. That's not a bad idea. Well, what I was thinking was if they were to get... This is not replacing this level, but if it was... Well, that's exactly the same thing as the... It would be exactly the same thing as the Savage. What I was thinking, right? Yeah, whatever. Well, I don't think it needs it. Where were we? Oh, trade stuff. Are we looking at 9 or 10? I was looking to see if there was anything in there that needed to die, right? And if it was going to die, I would try to put a shield bash in there, but I realized that the shield bash is exactly the same thing as the Savage ability. Then, you have these insane level... Once you get to... There's a stupid combo when you get to 20, right? 20 perks, right? Where you are, or I mean 18, whatever it ends up being, where you're a Savage Guardian who can immediately run up to somebody and go, boom, stagger 5 feet on me, boom, stagger 5 feet on me, right? And that's 2 unavoidable damage, nothing you can do about it. Got some backpacks and bedrolls music rolling. Wouldn't work. Savages have to have weapons in both hands. That's a good point. Huh. And then we make it so the Guardian has to have a shield, right? But would you ever get to use it because the people around you are going to be hurt? By using your level 9 ability, you're forced to use your level 10. Yep. You can just do that for fun. You can just be like, I'm in the bar. Boom, 5 feet on me. Boom, 5 feet on me. No one took anything. Everyone's just like, what the fuck happened? Yeah, no, let's leave good enough alone. We're getting wiggly on that one. We're gonna go to trade stuff and recipes, right? So, one of the things that I've got in one of my other folders, let me grab the big ol' recipe list. Drive. And then we go down to this folder. Then we find that document. Here it be. The crafting sheet. So this is something that I was working on before when we were originally starting to do things. What's the magic number of ingredients that could exist? Right? Like, so, can I duplicate? Yeah, let's duplicate. Alright, so here's a copy, and we can murder this thing, right? So, acid can die. My chat went away, hold on. 42. 42 is the magic number, right? Wires could die. Alcohol itself could die. Right. Drunken Master definitely would have to be adjusted if this gets adjusted, right? That's why this is a copy, and there's still something over here. So, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is kind of meh. Fuels are also in rockets. Fuel is also in... yeah, that's it. It's in rockets, too. Put springs and gears together, right? Yeah, I was thinking, right? So what if they were a little bit more descriptive, right? So... I'll just fix all these later. Why am I not able to delete this row? Oh, okay, there it is. I should make sure I've got the list of everything here, right? And then the total can go away. Well, no, we want the total to exist, right? Actually, we should keep that other total available too. So we go through here, we clear everything out. Clip fed mod and high cap mod are the same thing, so this can go away. These could honestly be cleared out because we'll make new things. Was there another mod in here? No, I think we've got all the mods, right? And then the chems, Death's Door, Haze, Hyperstill and Crutch, Meteject, Megaject, Know-It-All, Prophet, Rage, Ratterall, Scuddy, Wakey. We got one in here that needs to go in here. Insert one below. And that is Zombitol. Jam says, for acid and alcohol, get that replaced by something else in the recipes they are used for, because chems use both of those. Correct. Yeah, everything's gonna get rebalanced, right? I'm thinking like I originally designed this a little bit around Fallout 4. What if we went a little bit more Fallout 4, right? So, what if we had mechanical parts, right? As one thing, and then let me make sure that this whole row wraps. Where's the wrap? Text wrapping. Wrap. There we go. And we went with something like that, right? What's up? Just a sec. I'll be right back, guys. I need to take a second. I have returned. Okay. So, where were we at on that, right? Okay. All the chems are in there. All the ammo is in there. Yes. Molly flash, grenade, missile, placed explosives. This is where a lot of shit gets added here. So, let me go get this document, and then I'll do that in another window so it's easier for me to see stuff. Damn it. Changes the zoom on everything. Okay, well, I'll just get this done with this zoom, and then we'll do it again later. And in fact, we can just F11 that, make that a little bit bigger. Equipment. Oh yeah, melee mods is entirely a completely different thing. So up by mods, up here. Insert a row below. Then 3 more. And this is... And in case you guys want to look along as we go, here's the thing. So it's integrated taser, forced complacency, balanced. Right. Okay. Those are there. Why did this formula not stay there? Where's the formula button again? Oh, I'll fix that in a minute. You motherfucker. I think it's this. It is. Excellent. It could also be that I'm fat fingering caps lock instead of everything else. Okay. Improvised backpack, assault pack, and a bug out bag. Then we've got handcuffs, jumper cables, multi-tool, trauma kit, I think, is the next one. Yeah. Work gloves. And I think I forgot gardening gloves. Yeah, garden gloves. And I think that's everything. I think that's all the things that we can make. Okay, I think that's all the things that we can make in the game, right? Now that we have that, we move on to what we could make them out of. And I know that these are correct. Those will stay the same because the herbs are the same. Mechanical parts is an option of a thing. Can garden gloves be garden shears? That's pretty funny. It's not a bad idea. I'll put that in the change suggestion document. All right, so we had mechanical parts, electronic parts, right? It covers a lot of things. Like, okay, so just grab a thing, right? So the integrated taser would probably have mechanical parts, electrical parts, and mechanical parts. I mean, I guess fixtures. Secure thingies, bolts, nuts, screws. Right, so yeah, Fallout has a ton of random stuff in it, right? Its list goes acid, adhesive, aluminum, antiseptic, asbestos, ballistic fiber, bone, ceramic, circuitry, cloth, concrete, copper, cork, crystal, fertilizer, fiber optics, fiberglass, gears, glass, gold, lead, leather, nuclear material, oil, plastic, rubber, screw, silver, spring, steel, wood, right? In our newest version of this, right? Right. Do we just assume wood is free? Just don't care about wood anymore? Wood is a thing. Wood happens, we just get wood, right? But we just, like, if you're making a rifle, we don't add wood into the crafting requirements because you just go grab some, right? There's broken wood everywhere. There's boards, there's trees, there's logs, there's whatever. Like, we don't even care about wood as a thing. I don't know where in no time to find wood, right? I have a search function, Baird, we can use in Discord to try and find that. If you did it in Patron, so I can search in Patron only, from Can I do 2 search terms? Oh, I'm in streamer mode. Hold on. That's why it does this for streamer mode. Whatever. Turn off streamer mode. And then do in patron only channel from user Baird Silvers. There are many pages. There's 40 pages of Baird posts. Oh, you're digging through that now? Okay. Yeah, it'll take me too long, and you got other people watching right now, so I mean, we'll just continue on, and then we'll take a look at your post. So I think that we could look into a couple of other things being things that, you know, you need or whatever. That didn't make any sense. My brain just fucking farted on itself because of that. I was sorry. I apologize. Under chems, we merge this row. Oh, can't merge frozen and non-frozen college. Yeah, all right, cool. That's fine. We can definitely do this. We can merge it. Yeah, that'll help actually differentiate stuff that's going on. But, okay. Anyway, mechanical parts, electrical parts, we assume that wood is a thing you can get now. Do we make it so that, I mean, metal is normally a thing that you need a fuck ton of. How do we make that a little bit less of a bear for everybody? Like, if we did nuts and bolts, and then nuts and bolts was a piece of ammunition, right? Like, you just, I don't know, maybe that's what all of the guns in the apocalypse are firing. Substitute things from other things that are metal, like I know we're getting away with gears and springs and stuff, but could they be used as metal? Right. I mean, that was some of the things I was thinking of, right? Like, what if metal was not a thing, right? Well, and for example, right, my example here would be, say you have explosives, right, as another thing, and for ammo, for bullets, right, it required nuts and bolts and explosives, right, instead of metal. And then, like, if you're taking a look at creating a plasma core mod, it was mechanical parts, electrical parts, and fucking laser parts or whatever. It avoided metal because metal is not a thing there, or I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys get what I'm saying there, because I'm not sure that I'm explaining it correctly. They would be in a smattering of recipes, right? My hope would be that they would be used more often, right? Actually, let's reverse engineer this. This might be harder, but let's try it. How many things should you need to build a high cap mod? I don't know if this part makes sense to you guys, but if we, you know, like... So say we took one of the most basic mods, which is expanded capacity mod, right? A high cap mod, let's say it ran 4 parts to build, right? Semi-auto is better than that, so let's say it takes 6. Full auto is better than that, and we also have it require a semi-auto to have on it, so let's say it's 8, right? A multi-shot mod is along the lines of a semi-auto mod, so we put a 6. The missile launcher mod is possibly a 7, right? It's in between there. The laser core mod, it's down at a 6. The plasma core mod, it's a 5, right? These are just words. These can change, right? So at that point, we would be able to determine the kind of things we need here. Found them and they're too large for fitting. Message them to me on Discord. And I'll read them out here. This is the most expensive part weapon in the game because balance is very strong. So if we did, I'm just throwing a number out there, say it was a 15 part mod. And then forced complacency. All right. Baird suggested to just combine alcohol and fuel because they neither of them have significant uses. Dakota made an excellent spreadsheet for this. If I ever had a sheet which listed how many of each type of resource card was running around, I'd be happier than a pig in shit. Alcohol has 4 uses, including filling towns. Alcohol has 2 uses with the, fuel has 4 uses, including town. Alcohol has 2 uses, including the alcoholic perk. Made me really think twice about not being an alcoholic for easy healing. I'm personally not drinking. Could probably just roll everything circuit board into wires and actually create some demand for them. normally have to adjust the energy weapon recipes, but as we're going to mods, that shouldn't be hard to make it or take into account. Lead can get thrown under metal. Lead is only used in 3 things, 2 of which are ammo. And acid and explosives probably can be combined into one category, as they both have 3 uses, and call it volatiles or reactives or some such. Pipe could also go under metal. Has 4 uses that are 4 bang weapons right now. I'd also combine gears and spring. They show up a lot in a lot of recipes together, and it wouldn't hurt to have another high demand resource. The new list would be metal, plastic, wood, mechanical parts, power cell, wires, glass, glue, cloth, painkillers, alcohol, which is taking out fuel. Not if you're... There was a response of something to... We have a lot of useful stuff sitting around. It makes the decision to use jury rig and makeshift meaningful instead of dumping trash components like pipe and glass. Balance of types of numbers of resources can be addressed in recipes, and distribution of items across the cards might be an excellent time to throw in things like food and water for town necessity and upkeeps, right? Yeah, I mean, that's some of the things that we're talking about here. But I think it could be done even more, right? Does anybody have any thoughts on the idea of suggested parts? Like, is this a good way about figuring out about how many things we need in the game? I don't know. Because, like, at that point, we could do, like, under the high cap mod, if we said it was 4 parts, right, it would need 1, 1, 1, 1, or possibly something else, right? Trying to balance scarcity, put less weight on resources that are used in things like mods as they are permanent resources. Yeah. You make things that are used less used in consumables. So that it makes the used less object more necessarily relevant. Because once you've made it, it goes away. God damn it. No. Wow. This is being a bitch. Make a fixed decision about tiered loot. I mean, not yet, right? That's why I was trying to figure out if we have parts, right? Because, I mean, we could definitely have rare ones and not rare ones. Alright, see you later, Tom. Mechanical parts, electrical parts. Yeah, we've only got about a half hour left before I'm gonna be done here, because that'll be 4 hours. And I went 5 hours last time, and it kind of burnt me out. So mechanical parts, electrical parts. Demand for parts creating its own scarcity. Yeah. What was the word you used here? I think explosives works best for that word, right? This is, I mean, like, what you would use as the prime thing for your explosives, right? Oh, okay. Jesse Foster says they're having trouble typing in the live stream. The metal question, use have different types of metal, gold, tungsten, carbon, steel. I mean, we could. It just creates more parts, which devalues individual parts. Right? Would we want bullets created out of flammables? Yeah, glass for mollies, is definitely a thing, right? But does it need to be glass? Can it just be container? Can we just assume that there's bottles around and then the Molotovs are created with alcohol and explosives or something like that, right? Do we make anything with ceramics? Yeah, fuel and cloth, right? Yeah, ceramics could go into laser and plasma mods. So could glass. I mean, we could just call it glass at that point. It would be glass, goes into laser and plasma stuff, right? Chemicals is not a bad word, right? Just chemicals, right? Who cares what they are? You found them. You made them work. This is the apocalypse. If it burns, it's good, right? Oh, posted to Discord. Let me hit this real quick. Different types of metal: gold, tungsten, carbon, steel. Right? Yeah. I mean, most games use gold as a resource for electronics. And then, yeah, glass could go into some of the meds as well, right? I'm just like, I just keep mentally fucking my stuff up, right? cloth to fabric as it implies a wider selection. You know, that's a good point. Yeah. Perp cup. Perp cup. Let's see. Neat. Welcome, Trumpus King. But yeah, so if we're taking a look at mechanical parts, electronic parts, fasteners, explosives, fabric, chemicals, glass. Fasteners is essentially used to put things together and should be only used in probably all of the mods. And then found for one consumable so that it's usable. Right. And mechanical parts will go in a lot of mods. Like mechanical parts would go in a lot of the mods and in locks and things like that, right? So mechanical parts would go in every one of the locks at least, right? I'm just putting a 1 here for it's involved. It doesn't have to necessarily be the number that's here, right? Mechanical parts in grenades and such. Yeah? Placed explosive would have fabric and explosives. Alright. What we've got here so far, we'll just start going through here. Like, I'm assuming that most of these are going to have those, and then these ones will have these, right? The fasteners would be involved in most of these. Glass wouldn't be involved in these ones. The integrated taser would have electronics, so would this one. What's funny is that it would have... No, it would have fasteners. Sorry, I meant fasteners. But balanced, on the other hand, requires some weird stuff. Did glue roll into fasteners? Yes. Yes, glue rolls into fasteners. We'll skip the chems for now because those ones are easily fine-tuned. Ammo would be so far explosives. Oops, not there. There. What the fuck happened? Alright. I see. Wood is hard to use in this set, right? Because, like, what does wood go in? It goes in arrows, yeah. But arrows could be fasteners metal, right? Or Right. Well, I guess, you know, the biggest thing we could do is just make 1 billion of these and then just cause problems. Oh yeah, fabric should be involved in every one of the backpacks. Now these numbers are not permanent. These are just the current numbers, right? Jumper cables would have electronics. They would have metal. They would have mechanical parts. No, maybe? I don't know if they technically do. They're just a battery with stuff, right? Oh yeah, wall defense for wood. That's correct. These numbers are not permanent. Spiked wall would definitely have metal and wood. The electric fence would also have electronics, fasteners, explosives. Wall upgrades would have fasteners and wood. The spiked wall upgrade would have metal, wood, fasteners. Right? Yeah, the possibility of including a power pack, right, which is a object in here, right, but we could have that as a recipe. Right. This could be a thing, like what Ramo was saying, some rare special ingredients, right? So, Power Pack is a crafted ingredient, right? Just do away with this right here. Gets pricey like rockets, right? Let's work on Power Pack right now, right? So if Power Pack required electronics, what the fuck would a Power Pack require? It could just require 2 electronics, right? Like if that was an easy thing to craft, right? Yeah. Not if Power Packs are relatively easy to craft. Correct, right? And chemicals. Yeah. Right? So everything that requires a power pack essentially also requires a acid and metal, right? Or sorry, acid and electronics. Potato and metal. These are too cheap right now. Like, way too cheap. Well, so what if these were the common materials right here, right? These are all of the common materials. And we make those a common color, right? And then we had some uncommon materials. Then we had a rare material. Couple of rare materials, right? And we had a epic material. Right? A lot more uses than batteries used to be, right? Metal, wood, and fabric should be common, right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. So... You son of a bitch. Fine. Unmerge all of these. Let me get this arranged here real quick. Just a sec, guys. God damn it. Okay. Right. I'll just get this as we go. Is this dock flowing right? Yeah, I just I shared this a little bit earlier. Let me do it again though. And in case anybody is looking at this one and wondering why these changes aren't being made, there's a sheet down at the bottom. We're in copy of sheet 1. Or new. So these are common, right? Metal, wood, fabric end up common. So they should have a lot of uses, right? So they should be in armor, over armor. Fabric should be in bandages, and armor, and over armor. And wood is in all of the things down there. It can be in the scrap bag and the improvised backpack, right? Metal in each of those mods. When you're talking about every mod. Like that. And then these were... technically uncommon, right? And the melee mods too. Right? This'll, if this was shears, right? If we did shears, just because that's fun. And it had metal. Technically... Yeah, storage containers need wood. Locks need metal. Key needs metal. Handcuffs need metal. Did I put wood in jumper cable? I didn't mean to. It's not. There's no wood in jumper cable. Ah. All right. Keys, multi-tool, needs metal. If you try to type too fast without going over the damn character limit, this will time you out. I thought I turned off timeout. Oh, it brought back spam messages. That should be fixed again. Do me a favor and just type like a couple of sentences in a row, or a couple of words in a row to make sure that it fixed this. Metal's just split into two different common based on the massive total difference in common ingredients. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, right? Okay, cool. I know what we do. Well, metal's at 29 in the total versus 10 and 11 in the other two commons, right? Oh, okay, so... Right, and we were attempting to remove how many things we're going to be using it, right? Just, I'll put those back in just a second. So it's 19 non-permanent, right? How many of these are consumables, right? Let's take a look, right? That's a good way of doing it because of the okay, so bullets 1, 2, 3. 4. Yeah, there's 4, right? There's 4 objects, so 25 of the objects are created to be consumed, right? Or 25 of the objects never get consumed, never go away, right? Right, armor over and over, bullets over and over, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess 5 items. So 24 of the objects that are created with metal are created once. Although they couldn't be stolen from you or robbed from you or whatever. All right. Well, now we all know where we're sitting at, right? I'm going to post what we did earlier, right? Let me get this and we'll share it on Facebook. All right. Now that I've got that, I'm going to post that on the normal Afterworlds page and share it to the other page. All right, let's see. Metal should also be on arrows. If there are 3 metal cards for every 1 other common, it could work. Some of them are still higher demand or will get destroyed. Locks, semi-consumable, correct. It's fine, honestly. Metal has always been in high demand. Yeah, and it kind of sucked too. Just really makes those abilities that let you trade in components actually useful. Right. Well, like I said, this part is not completely changed yet. There will be lots of stuff on that. So, we'll take a look. But anyway, I think that's done for the stream today. I'll be doing this again soon. This works out really well. I like the way that this works. Let me know if there's a good time for this. Just yeah, I'm not sure. Saturdays don't work for me because I'm always working on the site. But yeah, we'll figure it out. But all right, guys, I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out.